seen in the PDF when you gone through? Can anyone say the subtitles what you have seen for complexometric titration from the PDF? Yuvasri, complexation. What are the subtitles?
Classification of ligands.
Okay. And then
Indicators.
indicators, classification.
Then titration curve.
Okay, titration curve.
Then through.
Types of complex meter titration, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll see the titles. Good. So Ashwini, Babisha, Naveen. Very good. We'll move on to the site headings, whatever you have told for complexometric titration. Now, in brief, we'll discuss according to your syllabus. So, in complexometric titration is the unit 3, part of unit 3. We'll be moving on to discussion on 5 parts today. The first one is definition, and the second one is classification, and the third part we are going to see about metal ion indicators. Okay. So, definition, classification, metal ion indicators, and then fourth, masking and demasking agents, and the fifth one, estimation of magnesium sulfate and calcium gluconate. These 5 parts we are going to discuss today. So let's move on to the first part, definition of complexometric titration. Complexometry or chelatometry. Can you hear my voice? Clear, right? We will proceed. Complexometry is otherwise known as chelatometry. Chelation is nothing but complex formation. Complex formation occurs means it will be called as chelation, and the product formed through complexation is called as chelate or complex. Okay. So only it is getting name as complexometry or chelatometry. And it is a form of volumetric analysis. Volumetric means using volume of known volume of burette content and unknown concentration of your sample will be titrated. The volumes will be used for titration, okay, for analysis. As say, so it is called volumetric analysis. In which the formation of solutions in volume it will be analyzed. So in which the formation of a colored complex occurs. Here formation of colored complex occurs. And here is the picture represents the color change during complexometric titration. So formation of colored complex occurs that represents the end point of titration. Okay, that is about complexometric titration. So it is nothing but a volumetric analysis. Here formation of a colored complex occurs with indicator, so it gives the color change. That color change represents the end point of titration. Okay. And complexometric titrations are particularly useful for the determination of mixture of different metal ions. It is applicable for different metal ions in solution. What purpose non-aqueous titrations and precipitation titrations are applied? Acid-base titration. What type of samples will be proceeding with acid-base titration, non-aqueous titration, and precipitation titration? Can anyone answer? What purpose acid-base titration, or what category of samples will be going with acid-base, non-aqueous titration and precipitation titration? So that complexometric titrations are also unique for the some category of samples, right? So acid-base titration will be preferred for which category of samples? Give answers on that. What class of compounds can be assayed or estimated by acid-base titration? Rahul?
Halogens.
What?
Halogens.
I didn't get. Huh?
Halogens.
I didn't get you. What purpose acid-base titration means? What class of compounds will be assayed by acid-base titration? At least put your answers in chat box, no? So nobody is listening to the class then. If you are not cooperating, then I will not continue with the classes. Okay. Halogens, halides, halogens, not halides. Halides in ionic form of halogens will be ionized, means analyzed. In which titration method? Which is particular for halides? Which
Precipitation.
titration method? Yeah, precipitation titration. Okay, good. Likewise, acid-base titration for acids and bases. Strong acid and strong base will be choosing. If the sample is strong acid or strong base, we'll be going with aqueous acid-base titration. If it is weak acid or weak base, your substance, then we'll be going with non-aqueous titration. Similarly, this complexometric titration also applicable for only metal ions. It will be applicable for an assay of metal ions. So if you see the drug molecule with a metal ion, mainly heavy metals, bivalent ions, okay, bivalent ions, metal ions, particularly bivalent ions like calcium, magnesium, likewise, okay, zinc. Those bivalent ions will be analyzed by complexometric titration. So metals represents heavy metals. Heavy metals of bivalent and trivalent ions also can be analyzed by complexometric titration. Okay, that's why it is here mentioned as different metal ions in solution are analyzed by this titration method. Next, we'll move on to the classification of complexometric titration. So now we have seen the first part. What is complexometric titration? Now let's move on to, so here you have observed that it is a volumetric method. Here a color complex will form. That color will be different from the initial color of indicator. So that change in color represents the endpoint of titration. Okay. Color change only we are monitoring here with the indicator color. Then here what type of samples are analyzed? Metal ions are analyzed. Next we'll move on to the classification of complexometric titration. Here it is classified, complexometric titrations are classified into 4 categories. First one is direct titration. Second one is back titration, then replacement titration, then indirect or alkalimetric titration. Indirect or alkalimetric titration. Okay, there are 4 types of titrations. Classified. The complexometric titrations are classified, divided into 4 categories: direct, back, then replacement, then indirect titration. Okay, indirect titration or alkalimetric titration. Now let's see direct titration. Direct titration, back titration, replacement titration, and then indirect or alkalimetric titration. Now let's see about direct titration. In direct titration, what happens here? Even in precipitation also we have discussed direct method was Morse method, back titration or indirect method was Volhertz method. Likewise, we have discussed, right? The same concept we'll be discussing this class of titrations also under complexometry. So what are direct titration? Metal ion will be directly titrated with the known standard of EDTA. EDTA is nothing but ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. You will be seeing the chemical structure of EDTA in forthcoming slides. So the metal ion, which will be your sample. Sample will contain metal ion that will be directly titrated with EDTA. That means conical flask content will be metal ion. Unknown concentration of metal ion is analyzed with the known concentration of EDTA. So this is directly titrated. Metal ion is directly titrated with the EDTA. Here metal will be forming complex with EDTA. What is the nature of EDTA? EDTA means what? Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Okay. And it is called as chelating agent or complexing agent. Okay. And if the chelate found will be water soluble means then it will be called as sequestering agent. So EDTA acts as sequestering agent. The spelling of that is sequestering agent. Sequestering agent. It is nothing but complexing agent. It is the complex whichever formed with EDTA will be water soluble. If the formed complex is water soluble, then it is called as sequestering agent. So EDTA will be the nature of sequestering agent. Okay. So it forms complex with metal ion. Metal ion will be attracted. EDTA acts as ligand here. Metal ligand complex, you will be seeing some term like a metal ligand complex in textbooks. So metal represents our sample, ligand or chelating agent or sequestering agent or complexing agent is called as EDTA. Ligand will be taking or binding with the metal ion. Which bond it will be binding with metal ion? What complex bond will be forming? The bond formed called as coordinate bond. Coordinate bond. Okay. Metal ion forms complex with EDTA through coordinate bond. Then next, this is the direct titration. So the solution containing the metal ion is buffered to an appropriate pH. Must be in complexometry. We must maintain buffer. Means pH. We must be using buffer to maintain pH. So what type of buffer is preferred and what pH we need to maintain so that metal and EDTA complex will be forming. pH of 11 should be maintained. 9 to 11 is the range. So the maximum of 11 pH, alkaline pH should be maintained. 11 is what? Alkali or acidic pH? Alkaline pH must be maintained during complexometric titration. Okay, what is the pH range we need to maintain? 11, maximum of 11, 9 to 11. That is basic buffer. Through basic buffer, we could maintain that pH. So definitely the solution must be buffered to that pH. Okay, and that's why here the point here mentioned as buffer to an appropriate pH, at which the stability constant of the metal and EDTA complex is large. The complex between metal and EDTA will be stable so that we are maintaining the buffer pH or the solution pH by means of buffer to basic pH, that is around 11. Okay. And what buffer will be used to maintain basic pH? Ammonia and ammonium buffer. Okay, ammonia, ammonium buffer. NH3, NH4 buffer solution. Ammonia and ammonium buffer is used to maintain basic pH in complexometric titration. Got it? So now let's move on to the next point. The free indicator has a different color from that of the metal indicator complex. Okay. The free indicator will be having different color. When it is forming complex with the metal indicator complex will be having different color. Definitely the chemical change occurs with the indicators because of formation of complex with metal, that will give different color. This color changes, free indicator, metal indicator color and metal EDTA color, this all will be giving different colors. This color change will represent the reaction completion during titration. Now we are going to see what color change when it occurs, everything in the coming slides. And some important elements which could be determined directly by the complexometric titrations. So what are the different metal ions through direct titration we can analyze means copper, manganese, calcium, bromine, zinc, cadmium, mercury, aluminium, so stannous, lead, these are all the metals can be analyzed by complexometric titration through direct method. Okay. So direct method, metal is directly titrated with EDTA. So burette content will be EDTA, conical flux content will be metal. Metal ion, solution containing metal ion. Solution containing metal ion. You have to remember all the material what we use will be in solution form. That's why it is coming under volumetric titration. So solution of metal ion will be taken. For example, copper chloride, likewise copper sulfate, salt of that metal ion will be taken. When it is in solution form, it will exist as ion. That ion will be forming complex with EDTA. That is the concept here. Okay, understood? No. Now let's move on to back titration. Back titration. What is back titration? We'll be adding known excess of EDTA to the conical flask itself. Like Volhart's method we have discussed now, known amount of what will be added, silver nitrate will be added to the conical flask itself. Likewise, here known excess of EDTA. What is the standard solution? EDTA, direct titration. The known excess of EDTA complexing agent will be added directly at once to the conical flask with metal ion. In that particular pH, what I have said already, basic buffer, that is ammonia called buffer will be added, and so that pH will be maintained around 11 basic pH. At that pH, EDTA solution is added to the metal ion in the conical flask itself. So metal EDTA complex formed in the conical flask itself. Once all the metal ion reacts with EDTA, once the complex is formed completely with metal ion, excess EDTA will be there, right? Remaining EDTA, free EDTA, that will be titrated with another metal ion solution. Standard metal, this is second metal. That is of standard solution, known concentration. Where unknown concentration is forming complex with EDTA. Then this excess of EDTA will be titrated with standard solution of a different metal ion, another metal. Whatever metal we are aiming for will not be taken as the standard. Okay, so standard solution of another metal ion will be taken. There EDTA forms complex, so we can quantify the metal what formed complex with the EDTA. That is first metal. First metal will be your analyte of unknown concentration. Second metal will be of your titrant, that is of known concentration. Okay, so the choice of second metal is important as it must not displace the analyte metal ion. So we have to choose the metal ion, second metal ion, such that it should not displace the metal your analyte complex with EDTA. It should not displace that complex. Likewise, we need to choose the standard solution, metal of standard solution. Okay, usually what second metal will be used means zinc chloride, zinc sulfate or magnesium chloride. These three will be our optional for preparing standard solution of second metal ion. That is known standard for analyzing other metals. So what substance will be used for preparing standard solution or for back titration? Zinc chloride, zinc sulfate and magnesium chloride. Got it? Back titration means what? EDTA is titrated back with second metal's ion solution, that is of standard solution, known concentration. Okay, EDTA, where it is now present, this known excess of EDTA, in conical flask. In conical flask, what are the contents are present? EDTA and metal ion. In burette, what will be there? The second standard solution, metal ion of standard solution of second metal ion. And the remaining EDTA, once the EDTA formed complex with metal ion, the excess EDTA, what happens? It will interact or it will be titrated with the metal ion present in the burette. Burette, whatever solution we take will be of known concentration, known concentration. Where in conical flask, whatever content we take will be of unknown concentration. Okay, so this will be deducted by using complexometric titration. And the second metal should not displace the first metal what it is to be analyzed. Okay, so what is the second standard solution? Commonly we can prepare either zinc chloride, zinc sulfate, or magnesium chloride could be used. Now let's move on to the third type, replacement titration. Before that, we'll revise the first one, direct titration, where metal ion is directly titrated with EDTA, metal EDTA complex forms, and metal will be indicator will be added to that. So metal indicator complex will be having different color from that of free indicator. So that color change will be observed during the titration. And during back titration, known excess of EDTA complexing agent and metal ion is taken in the conical flask, and the remaining EDTA after reacting with metal ion will be back titrated with second standard solution. Then that color change will be monitored with the indicator for knowing endpoint. So here what second standard solution will be preferred means zinc chloride, zinc sulfate, or magnesium chloride. Now let's move on to replacement titration. What is replacement? So metal ion will be replaced here for titration. Okay, analyte, what analyte we are going to determine will be replaced with some other metal ion for forming better complex with the EDTA. In order to get accurate endpoint, we will be moving with replacement titration. So when direct or back titrations do not give sharp endpoints, okay, when direct and back titrations do not give sharp endpoints, and when there is no suitable indicator for the analyte, the metal may be determined by this method. Okay, so which are the cases we are going? If we don't get sharp endpoint through previous methods, and then if we don't find suitable indicator for the analyte, metal ion, what it is selected for analyzing, then we can go with replacement titration. So mostly used titration methods will be direct and back titration. In order to get accurate endpoint, whichever is not obtained by those two methods, then we can go with replacement titration. Got it? So when we are going with the replacement titration, when we don't get sharp endpoint by means of direct and back titration methods. Okay. So the metal to be analyzed, this is the actual principle behind the replacement method. The metal to be analyzed, what it is representing? Analyte, metal of analyte, unknown concentration. Metal of unknown concentration is added to a metal EDTA complex. Metal EDTA complex. So metal to be analyzed will be added to the metal EDTA complex. EDTA already formed complex with some other metal. Okay, then what happens? This analyte metal displaces the metal from the EDTA. So this metal will be replacing or displacing the metal attached to the EDTA, and it forms complex with the EDTA. And the metal subsequently titrated, the displaced metal, free metal that is formed already, first complex with the EDTA will be subsequently titrated with standard EDTA solution. Got it? So this is replacement titration. So we are adding in the conical flask, you can think that any one metal that formed complex with EDTA is taken. Then to that solution, you are adding your analyte metal to be titrated or to be analyzed, will be added to the conical flask, where your analyte metal will replace the metal already formed complex with the EDTA, and it replaces that metal. This replaced metal, what it does, it is directly titrated against standard EDTA from burette, that is taken in the burette. Okay, then using a indicator, we can analyze the color change and endpoint of titration. Here you can find the example of that. So in the determination of manganese, an excess of magnesium EDTA chelate is added to manganese solution. So magnesium already formed, this is the first metal already formed complex with EDTA, magnesium EDTA chelate or complex. To that manganese solution, in order to determine manganese solution concentration, we need to add manganese to this complex. What it does, manganese will replace the magnesium, where replaced magnesium will be titrated back to the EDTA. Okay, so displaced metal ion will be titrated. Why it is done? Manganese will not form a complex, stable complex with EDTA well. Where magnesium forms that, so that we have done a complex before with the magnesium, then this is displaced by manganese, then released magnesium will be titrated back to the EDTA. The freed magnesium metal is then directly titrated with the standard solution of EDTA using eriochrome black 2 as indicator, EBT. What is the indicator name? In all complexometric methods, common indicator will be eriochrome black tea. Eriochrome black tea. So it is a type of dye, colored dye. It is used. It is shortly called as EBT. Short form of eriochrome tea is EBT. That is eriochrome black tea. Yes, indicator. It is only used for back titration, direct titration, complexometry. The titrant, indicator used will be eriochrome black tea. We are going to discuss what are metal ion indicators. That common indicator will be eriochrome black tea. Okay. So this is about a replacement titration. Here metal is replaced. Already formed complex between metal and EDTA will be replaced with analyte metal. And the replaced metal, freed metal from the complex is titrated with EDTA. So another complex forms. Once all the reaction completes, what happens? Only indicator will be there. That indicator will give color change. So that is observed as endpoint. The fourth classification is indirect or alkalimetric titration. What is alkalimetry in complexometric method means? Alkalimetry means what? In burette we will be taking alkaline solution, standard alkaline solution, right? But here setting anions represents basic substances, anions that form precipitate with metal cations, okay, like sulfate, barium sulfate, phosphate, calcium phosphate. Likewise, it will be forming precipitate. Even you have seen the precipitate of silver chloride, right, in precipitation titration. So silver is metal, it forms complex with anion halides, it gives precipitate. Likewise, certain anions will give precipitate with metal cations, and they do not react with EDTA. So once the precipitate is formed, precipitate will not be reacting with EDTA. So we cannot directly analyze this type of metal cations which forms precipitate. In that case, the sulfate and phosphate can be determined by this method. How means? The sulfate can be determined by adding excess of barium to the to form precipitate as barium sulfate. Okay. So anions are measured by adding metal to follow this concept of forming precipitation. Then the excess of metal added to that anion will be titrated with EDTA. Got it? We'll be adding excess barium to the sulfate ion. Once all the sulfate is precipitated as barium sulfate, the excess of barium, this is metal, will be titrated with EDTA. So barium EDTA complex forms. Once this reaction completes, EDTA get complex with the indicator to give color change. Okay. An indicator will not form complex with EDTA, it will form with metal only. So metal indicator complex will be there in the beginning. When EDTA started adding, and it will form barium EDTA complex. So free indicator will be formed, that is the endpoint. And these are all some drugs titrated with EDTA, disodium editate. EDTA can be called as disodium editate, ethylene diamine, tetra acetic acid, disodium editate. It will be available with sodium salt of EDTA. So it is called disodium editate. In order to increase the solubility of EDTA, it is attached with sodium salt. So it is formed as sodium, converted as sodium salt, and these are all the different indicators employed for complexometric titration of direct method. The quantity taken, burette content, and this will be the indicator. Modern black 2, hydroxynaphthol blue, chalcone mixture. So these are all indicators. Some drugs titrated by using Eriochrome black 3 and modern black 2. These are all same only. The name of the indicators will be same, even with the different names. Sorry, this is not example of back titration. I have not found like this a tabular column for back titration. So only for direct titration I have given. Even in your syllabus also, the two chemical substances mentioned for titration follows direct titration only. Okay. Then next we'll move on to the points when to choose back titration. In certain circumstances, a particular metal ion cannot be titrated directly. So this includes situations where the metal ion precipitates in the absence of EDTA, like in last method, alkalimetric method, metal ion will be precipitated instead of forming complex with EDTA. So in that case, we can go with back titration. Then metal ion reacts too slowly with EDTA. Reaction will be slow with EDTA. In that case, back titration or replacement titration we can prefer. Direct, apart from direct titration, other titrations, when and all we can choose, means these are all the parameters we need to consider. Okay, if metal ion gets precipitated, then we have to choose. If the metal ion reacts slowly, then we have to choose other technique, comparing direct method. If metal ion forms an inert complex, not active complex, it is an inert complex, then also we need to choose. Then no suitable indicator is available, then we have to go with titrating with other method, either back titration or replacement titration or alkalimetric titration. In these cases, a back titration is required. Other methods are required. If no proper indicator, then we have to go. If the metal ion forms inert complex, then a metal ion reacts slowly, very slowly, then we have to go. The metal ion gets precipitated, then we have to go with other technique, comparing direct technique. The third part, let's move on to metal ion indicators. Metal ion indicators. Shall we discuss this metal ion indicators and masking, demasking agent in the next class? Since we have discussed too much, I feel exhausted, so we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, now we have discussed definition and classification. Okay, definition of complexometric titration, what is complexometric titration, and how many classifications are there, or different methods are there in complexometric method. In complexometric, what are the types? If it is asked, what you will write? Direct, back, replacement, and alkalimetric or indirect method. In precipitation, what are the methods? What are the classification of precipitation titration? Morse method, Volhart's method, modified Volhart's method, and Fajansa method. Okay, so these are all the things we have to learn. Is there any doubt till now what we have discussed? So in the next class, third, fourth, and fifth part we will be discussing. Is there any doubt? Clear now? So nobody is attending the class now? No? Only 84 members. Now I will keep attendance for 84 members only. Others have to give reasons why you have not attended. Have given attendance except 4 members. Many have given attendance. 96 members. What, Raj Kumar? What reason you have? Something you said?
மேம் கைப்பட்டு தப்பா போயிடுச்சு மேம்.
Okay, okay. Okay, pa, thank you. We'll meet in the next class. I'll be evaluating your class test half over, I think so. Whenever I get time, I'll be completing your class test evaluation and assignments. Meanwhile, submit all the assignments 1 and 2. Thank you all. If any doubts, you can ask. For preparing assignments, assignment and class test must be written in a separate test notebook or assignment book. Okay. Thank you.
மேம் டெஸ்ட் மட்டும் A4 ஷீட்ல எழுதிட்டேன் மேம். அது அப்புறமா அட்டாச் பண்ணிக்கிட்டேன் மேம் இதுல நோட்ல.
டெஸ்ட் அப்படி எழுதிட்டீங்களா? நான் ஆல்ரெடி கிளாஸ்லயே சொன்னேன் இல்லைங்களா, யூ ஹாவ் டு புட் செப்பரேட் நோட் புக் தட் ஷுட் பி கவர்ட் வித் ப்ரௌன் ஷீட். இப்போ எழுதிருந்தா நோ ப்ராப்ளம், அதை ஸ்டிக் பண்ணிக்கோங்க நோட்ல. செப்பரேட் நோட் புக் யூ ஹாவ் டு கீப் இட். நெக்ஸ்ட் டெஸ்ட் யூ மஸ்ட் ரைட் இன் த புக் ஒன்லி. Along with first test it should be there, or else you copy it in the notebook.
Okay.
From paper you just write it in the notebook and keep it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.